and I welcome you all to this extensive coverage on modular and semi-modular kitchen. Today we'll talk about almost every possible thing about kitchen designing and how to choose the right material for a high-end looking but budget-friendly kitchen. I hope all your doubts and queries are clear after watching this video till the end. If you still want to ask me anything, you can leave a comment and I'll get back to you. So without wasting a single moment, let's jump into the video right away.
So first of all, what exactly is a fully modular kitchen? It's a kitchen with all the different modules including racks, drawers, pull-outs, shutters and boxes of all different shapes and sizes and can be customized as per your requirements, even including the counter. A table-like structure of wood or metal is constructed for the slab and the underslab cabinets. All the basic boxes are made at the workshop as per the design dimensions and are just installed at the site. Even the entire countertop is already cut and edged and just fixed, which saves a lot of time and hassle at the site, where everything is completely removable and reinstallable as there's no civil work involved.
Just the basic electrical, plumbing and tile work needs to be done in prior, and one can easily uninstall, shift and reinstall the whole entire kitchen to another place if the space allows, and that's the beauty of a modular kitchen.
Semi-modular kitchen. 80% of Indian houses have this kind of kitchen where everything is the same as the fully modular one except for the RCC based slab and partitions underneath. Placing the required modules here is even easier, faster and cost effective. Just the mobility and the options are limited. The layout. This always depends upon the space available and the requirements. Generally, there are 6 basic layout types based upon the shape of the countertop, such as single wall kitchen, L-shape and U-shape kitchen, galley or parallel kitchen, a kitchen with an island or a peninsula.
Before we start off with the types, let's understand the reason behind all the placement.
Working triangle. There are 3 basic elements of a kitchen: gas burner, sink and fridge, and most of the working happens around them, and that's the reason we call it a working triangle. The placements of all these 3 is very important for a user-friendly and practical kitchen, where the space provided and the gap in between is good enough. In simple words, it's like walk a few steps to reach an element and again walk a little to reach another. First of all, a kitchen with an island, which can actually sometimes house a hob or a sink as well, generally for a larger space, providing an extra working counter which must have circulation space all around. A peninsula or an open kitchen. This is just another version of an island which is attached to a wall or a counter. As it's an open kitchen, it allows the user to interact with the guests while working. Single wall kitchen is called so as all the 3 basic elements are placed in a single row. Basically, for small places, can have an island or a peninsula. L-shaped counter space with proper placements of basic elements along with enough circulation. This can also be with an island or a peninsula if the space allows. The same thing goes for a U-shaped kitchen. Galley or parallel kitchen. This is an interesting one where there's a passage kind of space. It's like more and less. And now some important points to remember. Make sure the sink is around the window and has a clear counter space at either side. Ideally, the burner should be somewhere at the middle for symmetry with landing space at both sides. No obstruction in circulation space. Minimum gap between counters shouldn't be less than 3 feet. A pantry unit is strongly advisable in absence of a storeroom. Avoid outer hangings for a high-end. And now we're ready for the material selection. We have to choose outer finishes such as shutters, countertop, wall tiles, flooring, sink and faucets, handle, hob and chimney, lighting, etc. And also the inner fittings such as racks, pull-outs, drawers, channels and hinges, the hydraulics and other mechanisms and accessories, which totally depends upon the look, choice and cost. Let's go through the vast variety of modules where we have steel wire frame racks, steel racks and tandem. Cutlery racks in steel, PVC, wooden, tandem and expandable. Corners, rotating corners 180 or 270 degrees. S corners, very useful. Magic corner, not really recommended. One can easily skip all of them if low on budget. Tall or pantry unit. We have full height pull-out, shutters, corner pantry, shutter attached to the rack, tandem drawers, half pull-out half shelves, and slant corner shelves unit. Always remember, the more the racks and the pull-outs, the higher the cost is. Oven unit. Built-in units are way costlier as they come with the appliances. If you already have them, then go for the customized ones to reduce a big chunk of the cost. Modules for under sink like the dustbins and the other cleaning storage, and the ventilated wicker baskets for the onions and the potatoes. Choose all the modules specifically as per your needs, like for utensils and groceries. Bottle or spice pull-out only if you need. A cheaper alternative is the PVC rack, which can be placed right next to the fridge and works exactly as the bottle pull-out and can serve as a wicker basket as well, saving a good amount. Wall units and dish racks. If the budget allows, go for the hydraulics as it actually makes your kitchen super easy to use and looks great as well. But if tight on budget, opt for the regular shutters, they also work well. Dish racks as per your budget and requirement. The best option for all the small appliances which always wait for your attention. Extremely useful and strongly recommended as it has electrical sockets inside, so the appliances can be used then and there. Choose as per your budget. Over 10 years of my designing experience, my personal and strong recommendation is to avoid hanging stuff on the walls, as you can't have all new stuff forever, and if not, it looks clumsy and cheap. Shutter flats, as discussed earlier, depends upon the budget, but lift-ups are amazing. Channels, the regular ones with the ball bearing. The soft close ones used extensively and my personal recommendation, and push to open for a handleless kitchen. Sink, very important selection to make, where we have SS sink in single bowl, double bowl, sink with drain board, top mount, under mount and integrated sink. Then there is farmhouse sink, bar, corner, granite, cast iron, fire clay sink. Choose as per the requirement and budget. Faucets, 360-degree rotatable ones, and the ones with the expandable hose is very easy to use and a good choice if no budget constraints. Countertop materials, very important selection in terms of looks, strength and cost. Here we have stones such as marble, granite, kota stone, etc. Quartz, the latest trend and a huge variety available. Metal, steel basically. Corian, not recommended for Indian cooking. Concrete, cost effective and gives an industrial look. Ceramic tiles, for a change. Hardwood or laminate, very expensive and not a great option for an Indian kitchen. Nano white, a Chinese product, so not recommended. Some other amazing countertop materials. Black granite, top choice, rough and tough, easily available, value for money, zero maintenance, looks great and gels with almost everything. Marble, looks great, durable but needs maintenance and not a strong recommendation. Quartz, latest trend and very attractive engineered hard stone, huge variety available, great strength, low maintenance, gels with everything and my personal favorite as well. Corian, a man-made product also known as the acrylic solid surface, though it's seamless, bendable and repairable as well, but not recommended for Indian cooking. And now some unique countertops such as ceramic tiles, wood and concrete. Backsplash, humongous variety of materials to choose from, but going over the board is not suggested. Always try to balance overall. Moroccan, hand-painted and printed tiles are the latest trend and high on demand. Back-painted glass looks great as well. Some unique and creative backsplash ideas. Shutters: laminated, pre-laminated and veneer shutters. Where laminated and veneer shutters are made from the pasting of the laminate and veneer sheet over the plywood or MDF. Even a local carpenter can do it. And pre-laminated shutters are machine pressed over MDF or particle board. Natural wood shutters like teak, oak, walnut, rubber wood, polished with waterproof polish using spray guns. Very expensive and not eco-friendly as well. Acrylic shutters, where high quality plastic sheet is used over MDF or HDF for a high gloss reflective finish. A little costly but a great choice if the budget allows. Back painted glass with or without aluminum profile, where 4 mm extra clear toughened glass is pasted over ply. Here, aluminum profile is used to support the glass or any other material and also for a high-end or corporate look. It's long-lasting and budget-friendly. Membrane shutters are factory-made, where PVC membrane film is pasted over ply, MDF, HDF or a particle board. They are water and termite resistant and can be carved or grooved as well. Polyurethane paint is sprayed over MDF or HDF for high gloss and the shutters are waterproof. PVC shutters are made of plastic. They are low on budget, vast variety, water and termite resistant, easy to install and lightweight, but toxic and low on strength, so not really recommended. Lights and flooring. One must consider using ambient, task and accent, all 3 kinds of lights for a good looking and practical kitchen. Flooring can be anything but slippery, so choose a slip resistant flooring material. For a detailed information about both of these topics, you can just go ahead and watch my previous videos. The type, sizes and brands of all the other smaller and big appliances will definitely affect your budget, so choose correctly and buy only the stuff which you're really going to use and not because of others have it. Overall, the cost depends upon the brand, installation, warranty and material. It can vary from $350 to $3,500 per square feet.
If you choose to go for a branded modular kitchen, the cost will depend upon the brand, installation, warranty and the material chosen. And if you want to go for a carpenter or a contractor, the cost will still depend upon the chosen material. Here you can save on the cost, but you may have to compromise on the looks. All in all, it's a game of knowing and choosing the right material of your choice in your budget for your perfect dream kitchen. I hope all this information will help you. If so, please share and subscribe. I'm waiting for your queries and comments. Thank you so much. This is Ritu signing off. Bye bye, take care and be safe.